This is all about you and your journey in music and how you got to where you are now. We'll talk about your brand new song. I just watched the video. It's dope. I want to know whose house or where they were letting you just tag over the wall of some home or
maybe that's something we can't discuss.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Just somewhere you were able to tag.
Somewhere. I had to cover it up afterwards because it wasn't necessarily the most legal thing, but that's fine. Fine.
I love it. So talk to me about where were you born and raised?
I was born in Toronto, Canada, and I've been here all 18 years of my life.
Oh, very cool. So you're from Canada. Tell me about how you got into music.
I was always doing musical things as like a kid. And when I was 16, I started writing songs and short story. Now I'm here.
Very cool. What was the first instrument you learned to play?
Ooh, piano when I was really, really young, but then I quit.
Oh yeah, lessons?
Yeah, I was like doing competitive piano for a while, and then I had a new teacher and I quit, and then I retaught myself piano, guitar, and ukulele.
What's competitive piano? Were you like dual?
Oh no, no dueling, but like I played in competitions when I was like 9 years old. Oh my god, no.
I thought you would like add some piano bar like dueling, like okay, I'm gonna do this, and then this person, jump on. I don't know.
That would be
be a thing.
That would be very.
Well, how old were you when you learned piano?
Oh my god, I was like 7.
Oh, okay. Did your parents just throw you in lessons, or were you interested? Or
I was always doing musical stuff as like a kid. Like we had a keyboard when I couldn't even walk, and I would just play random notes on the keyboard. And I was always doing very musical stuff. So I was put into a lot of extracurriculars as a kid.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's very cool.
Not all music related, but
Sure. And then you did piano for what, a couple of years before you stopped?
No, I did it for 2 years. And then I had to switch piano teachers, and I absolutely hated her. So I quit. I rage quit. Yeah.
Rage quit. What? I don't even know if you want to answer this, but what was wrong with this? Was it like, all right, you're going to sit down and you're going to play, you're going to do all these scales, and if you screw up, I'm going to whip you with a ruler.
God. No, honestly, I can't really remember because I was like 9, but
got it.
But I don't know. I really liked my first piano teacher. She was like super kind to me and like really understanding the way like I was learning. And I just guess my new teacher just didn't make me fall in love with playing piano as much as my other teacher did.
Sure. What drew you back to music, or were you always still playing piano and tinkering around? You just didn't want to be taught by a particular person?
I wasn't. The only musical stuff I was doing was just like playing in band, being in choir at school. But when I was, I guess like 12, 13, I realized, I can kind of sing. And when I was in like 6th grade, I decided to just like teach myself how to like play simple like chords on like piano, guitar, ukulele, so that I can like accompany myself when I'm singing, and just my skills, I guess, have gotten better over the years. So
sure.
Yeah.
So you're in the school band.
Yeah, band. I was, as I said, I did a lot of musical. As I said, I did a lot of extracurriculars. A lot of it was musical stuff. So I was in band, and I was always singing in choir whenever we did put on musicals or drum or like
musical
plays.
Stuff. Sure.
Yeah, I was always into that stuff, but I was also I was a sports kid. I was doing oh my god, I played soccer for like 15 years of my life.
Wow.
And I was always playing sports. Yeah. And also doing music. I did a lot.
Yeah. In the school band, what'd you play in the school band?
Oh my god. I started out playing flute. I played the baritone tuba. I played the trumpet a little bit, clarinet. I played
some wind instruments.
I did a lot. Yeah.
You didn't keep up with it, or?
No, I didn't. I kind of just did that in middle school, just for fun. I had the time to, and I was interested in it, and my friends were doing band, so yeah.
But to be able to play that many instruments, that's pretty impressive.
I got a hang of them quite easily. Yeah, no, I would spend like extra time in the music room, like at lunch, being like, hey, can I try this instrument out? Can I try that? But I mean, I think I was like pretty decent. I think I was pretty like average at all of them. I didn't like excel in playing musical instruments. I was just really interested in playing a lot of different ones and bragging about it.
And what led you to, like, were you writing songs? Is that what kind of was like, okay, I should pick up piano again and learn guitar and ukulele, just so, because you said you did that to kind of accompany your voice. Like, were you writing poems, or did you always have melodies in your head? Like, how did you start putting everything together into songs?
No, actually, I was just learning how to play piano and guitar just to like sing covers. I was telling myself I'm gonna make it in the music industry just by singing covers. It didn't actually click in my head that I needed to write songs for some reason. And I never really considered myself much of a songwriter, or I never thought I could write songs because I was never interested in like English or creative writing or poems. I was so bad at it, and I thought that meant that I couldn't write songs. Also, I didn't have much to write about. But then when I was 16,
at what, like 12, 13, 14 years old, not a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, what am I gonna write about? Sports?
Not a whole lot of life. Yeah, your soccer game or something. Who knows?
Oh boy. Yeah, and I mean, so I had just been playing piano, guitar, ukulele for just a couple of years, like singing covers, posting on an Instagram account that I no longer use and didn't go anywhere. But when I was 16 in my junior year, I was just going through a really, really bad year and a half. My depression was like at its all-time worst, and I really didn't know how to cope with anything. Things just kept getting worse and worse. And in February of 2019, I ended up hitting like my breaking point, and I like didn't know what to do. I had like no proper coping mechanisms for like any of my depression. And I got home one day from school, and I sat in my room, I looked at my guitar, and something clicked in my head and was like, you have to write a song about this shit you're going through. And when I tell you, from that moment on, I got addicted to songwriting. I could not stop writing because so much was happening. As I said, it was like a year and a half long of just bad things happening. I couldn't stop writing at all. And I already knew like how to play guitar and piano a bit, so I would just that's how I got into the songwriting.
What was that first song? Is it something that made that first record?
Not the first record, but well, it's on my album. It's called Take It Back. It's a song on my album, and it was the first one I wrote, and it's very special to me. It's the songwriting wasn't the greatest then, but I mean, I was just
still, that's amazing. Do you remember the moment that you put it like out? Was it the first song that you like released, or was that not a thing yet?
It was not the first song I released. So I, as I said, February 2019, I wrote Take It Back, and earlier that month, I had gone to New York for a concert, just to see a concert. And I ended up going to a Billie Eilish magazine signing. And out of nowhere, like these girls behind me, I was asking Billie to sign my ukulele, and out of nowhere, these girls behind me were like, "You need to hear her sing." I didn't know who these girls were, and I was like, "Okay." So I sang to Billie in the middle of this like little store in New York, and that video and then there was a video taken, and it kind of went viral around the Billie fandom, and I got a bit of attention from that, just like on my Instagram. People started following, and and it was pretty cool. And so this was at the beginning of February, and
2019 or 2020?
2019.
Okay.
And so I was like always going live and just like singing covers. But then once I wrote Take It Back, my first song, at the end of February, I started singing it, and people were like, a couple people, like maybe like 5-10 people were like, "Hey, you should put this out." And I was like, okay. So I started putting stuff out on SoundCloud.
Okay.
So that's kind of where everything started. SoundCloud.
Wow. Okay. So were you going to see Billie Eilish, or she just happened to be doing a signing at the music?
So her brother Phineas was doing a concert in New York, and
Okay.
I was going there. I was 16 and I went. I was on a like 17-hour Greyhound bus from Toronto across the border, all by
Yeah.
myself.
Oh
All
my
by
gosh. I
myself.
was going to ask you about this trip because you're in Toronto. New York isn't like, all right, let's hop in the car and drive 25 minutes.
Yeah, no, it was honestly, I don't know how I did that at 16. All I had with me was just like a bag of my clothes. I brought a ukulele because I brought it everywhere at that time. And so I was going to see Phineas in concert, and right after his concert ended, I was like planning on going home that night, taking another bus back. And out of nowhere, Billie announced that she was doing like a signing the next day in Brooklyn. And I was like, I have to stay, I have to stay, I have to stay. So I stayed, and
Did you like
yeah.
camp out at like, where was it? A bookstore?
It I think honestly, I'm not quite sure where it was. It was some store that was transformed into like this signing place.
Did she like tweet it out? Like, how did you even find out about it?
Oh my God, I'm trying to remember, but I think so. Right after the concert, me and my friends, we went to just like a diner,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she announced right after, like late in the night, she like posted something on her story. No, she posted on her Instagram and was like, "Hey, I'm doing a signing tomorrow. You have," and there were like certain steps you had to take to actually meet her. You had to like buy a magazine by a certain time the next morning, and so me and my friends, we stayed in the car and camped out right outside that store, so we'd be like first in line.
Sure.
It was insane. And we went in, we got our magazines, we hadn't slept at all. And then they were like, they gave us wristbands, and they were like, okay, come back in a couple hours when your time slot is, and you'll be able to meet Billie. We got ready at like a Starbucks. It was a wild 3 days. It was wild.
That's so cool. That's so rad though. So where'd you find this car? That's my, first you Greyhound down, and then you were able to, to what, like break into somebody's car and hang out in there?
I wouldn't do that. Oh my God, my dog. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. My dog's right here. And I'm sure somebody will walk up the stairs by my house and he'll do the same thing. So it's all good.
Great. Can someone take her out? Oh my God. Sorry. So I went to New York alone, but I had friends that I met, like online friends that I had in New York.
Oh, got
it. Yeah.
So it was like a meet up. Okay, we're all gonna go see Phineas, and then they were obviously not in Toronto, and you just kind of met up.
Yeah, and they had their car and everything, and I was like, let's go to magazine signing. And then, oh my God, it was such a wild day because we were all so exhausted. And then I get there, I'm like asking if she could sign my ukulele, like shaking because I was in love with her.
Sure.
And yeah, no, it was a surreal moment.
And the people behind you, were they the friends that you came with, or they were just random people?
They were just random people who had been following me, and like I would always like go live and just like sing covers, and I guess they were just people who had been following me and just knew that I sang. And
wow,
it crazy.
And then did Billie Eilish like share it, or did it just happen to go viral because of this like book signing?
It happened to go viral because it was just, I mean, I was part of the Billie fandom. I had a fan account at that time, and I had a lot of friends in the fandom. And once that happened, once I posted the video, like it got reposted by so many Billie fan pages. There are so many Billie fan pages on Instagram alone.
It's insane. My gosh.
It's wild. Like, yeah, no, it's insane. So that video just went viral because girl sings to Billie Eilish at magazine signing.
Right. Did you sing your own song? Did you sing? What did you sing to her?
No, I sang Party Favor for her. I sang her own song. Yeah, no, because by then I hadn't.
That's bold too. I mean, being like, all right, I'm gonna do your own song in front of you. Like that's, I always think like the people in American Idol and those singing shows that do the song of the artist. I'm like, That's a bold move.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know if it was the right choice or not, but you know
It
what, I did it.
worked.
Yeah, it was something
Right.
happened. But I got here somehow. So
Yeah, she's so cool. She in her early interview, she came off like she was like too cool for school, but she is so nice, and
oh, she's
she's
just
she really is. Like I've been did radio for 15 years, and we had the station I was at. We did like a show, like a Christmas show, and she performed at it, and it was so
yeah.
awesome. Like when she came in to do the interview, because we would interview all the artists that were on the show and
Mhm.
performing that night or whatever. She's got a like a old school like boombox backpack, and she's just blaring like hip hop as she
Oh
walks
my!
like almost through the crowd of people. Just walks up when she's got the beanie, the sunglasses, just like
I
scurries
know.
on through, and then just like it's just like look at me. It was just so it was awesome in
I
the
know.
whole sense of the word.
I think I know exactly what post she posted that day of her walking around the offices with the boombox.
She had like a boombox backpack,
Yeah.
and
Oh my.
it
I
was
think
awesome.
yeah, she posted it on her Instagram. I think I actually remember like that post. Like
It was a
I
couple
remember seeing
years
that.
ago. It was like
Yeah.
she might have had her EP out or a record. I don't even think it was
Uh,
out yet. It was right before she became like this, like halfway down the lineup to like stadium selling out. Like it was
gotcha.
on the cusp
Gotcha.
of
Yeah.
of that
Oh,
portion of her career. But okay,
she's so
so you sing the song, you sing her song to her.
yeah.
And then at this point, like, do you have like what became your record at that point? Do you love me or are you just lonely? Like, was that something that you already were working on when you met her and then you just kind of gained this following that way? Or
Mm,
like talk to me about that.
no, not at all. So as I said, like this signing happened at the beginning of February, and I wrote like even though this was like an insane like 3.5 days in New York, I was still like going through like a really bad depressive episode. And so I actually hadn't even written my first song until the end of the month.
Oh, so you didn't even
And
have that song yet. You
no,
didn't have Take
I
It
didn't have
Back
any
yet.
songs. I didn't have any songs. I didn't even think I could write songs. And but from that I got a little bit of attention. Some people started following me. I would go live, I would sing covers, and then once I started writing songs, like, and I started writing more and more and more, I would sing them on my lives, and people would be like, "Hey, we want this on SoundCloud." So I, um, not knowing how to produce anything, using my iPhone, I made these acoustic songs on GarageBand, and I just posted them to SoundCloud with absolutely no experience of anything
That's awesome though.
music industry wise, and I just kept posting these songs that I was writing. And in I think May of 2019, I uploaded a song called "A Soulmate Who Wasn't Meant to Be" onto SoundCloud.
Mhm.
Um, Thinking like nothing of it again. Like this was just another song I made on my phone. I had already put out a couple, and it instantly starts like getting like more plays than streams than like all any of my other songs, and I'm like, okay, what's
Right.
going on? Because I and the thing is, I didn't know a single person in the music industry. I didn't like I couldn't consult anyone. I didn't know what to do. I was just freaking out because I was just making music from my bedroom, and all of a sudden people are listening to it.
Right.
And so this song, "Soulmate Who Wasn't Meant to Be," gets reposted on this YouTube channel called The Worst Taste, and they put my name as Jessica Benko. That's my full name. I go by Jess Benko though, and so no one could find me from that. I was just like searching up YouTube videos because I was told by one of my friends like, "Oh, I found like your song in a YouTube video." So I found this video and I just watched it grow and grow and grow. Within a couple of weeks, it had like over 1 million views, and I was going into the comments every single day and responding to people, and people were like, "Where can I stream this? Is it on Spotify?" And I was like, maybe I should put this on Spotify. And
20 million
and
views later, streams
oh
later.
my god, oh my god, not yet, not yet. But I was like, okay, if I'm putting one song out on Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff, why not put out the rest of the songs that I have? They kind of like make a story. So I was like, so 2 weeks before it was so it was July now, and like a week into July, I was like, I'm gonna put out an album. So I just and so I literally I was like, okay, 9 songs, and then I was like, wait, no, I had 8 songs ready, and I was like, I want to write another one. So I wrote another one, and then I was like, I want to make an introduction, and then I made an introduction, and then I just uploaded it to the Spotify, and people started listening, and people were finding a soulmate who wasn't meant to be on Spotify from the YouTube video, and things just started going up, and I was, as I said, like, I knew no one in the music industry. I was freaking out. I was all of a sudden getting all these streams, and I knew nothing. It was insane. It still is insane. It's wild.
Was it one of those things where when you saw a soulmate who wasn't meant to be, like, growing, like on Spotify, for example, was it like, you know, checking your phone every few minutes, like, oh my God, it's at this many. Oh my God, it's at this many. Oh, it's at 1 million. Like, do you remember doing that?
Yep. Oh my God. I still do that. Oh boy. And I remember, oh my goodness, I've been doing this since I started putting out music on Spotify, but I'm always on Spotify for artists. You can see how many people are listening to your music at any time. Like, it tells you, like, in real time.
Oh, like if you're like an artist page or whatever.
Yeah. So, like, you can, so it just tells you in real time how many people are listening to your music. And every single time I reached a new highest number, I would screenshot it, and I still do. And it's so, it's the tradition. I keep going, and it's insane to me. It's insane to me every single time. But
That's so cool. So this whole record was done just in your room you're sitting in right now?
Yep. I sat on my bed. I don't have a desk, but I sat on my bed. I had this really shitty mic. Oh, sorry.
You can cuss. Yeah, you can say whatever you
want. Okay, cool. So yeah, I had this shitty mic, and I plugged it into my iPhone 8 and opened GarageBand. I would play the guitar so closely so that it would hopefully pick up the sound, and I would record my vocals like one take, because at this point, I didn't know how to produce anything, so it was all going to be acoustic no matter what. But it was going to be acoustic because since I was really sad at that time, that was the type of music I wanted to listen to and I wanted to cry to. And my music then and now has always been very much so lyrics based, like lyrics first. And so I was fine with putting out acoustic songs, but you can hear like the cars outside on the street driving. You can hear people talking in the background, doors closing.
I love that. Like, to me, like, the most authentic, sound. I mean, for me, that's what I loved about, like I said, I did radio forever. Like, I loved about old school radio. It was like when the DJ would screw up on the air, like, oh, whoops. Okay, hang on. And like, cause then it's like, here's real person doing things and screwing up like everybody else does in the world. And when it sounds too polished and too perfect, it kind of turns me off, where it's like, like, how much money and like production and this and like auto tune and that really went into this, when with something like that, like what you're doing, like I think maybe that's a reason why people were attracted to what you were doing.
Hopefully, maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I just think that, like, in this world of Instagram and TikTok and everything else, where we're chatting and you're in the bedroom that you recorded this record in, like, this whole behind the curtain look to people's lives, I think is something so fascinating. It's like almost like when The Real World came out on MTV or something. It was like, whoa, these are real people doing real things. It's just like, I don't know, it's just fascinating to me.
Well, thank you. Well, let's thank my 16-year-old self.
Thanks, 16-year-old self. Well, okay, so when the success of the song, and this record is happening, 20 million streams, there must be every major label on the planet blowing up your phone, hitting you up on Instagram, every manager like, hey, Jess, I'm going to make you a star. Like, was that type of stuff happening to you?
Not a single email. Not a single email for a year and a half.
Were their trackers broken?
Were what?
I don't know. I would think that they would have some sort of tracker that's like, watching like, oh, how is this stream hitting 20 million? Like, really nothing.
nothing, no Spotify playlist, no, absolutely nothing. And also, I think part of it was because in a lot of places, except for Spotify and obviously my like official accounts, my name, people would put my name as Jessica Benko, and you can't find me from that name. Like, I don't use that at all. And so I think maybe that was maybe
Part
why
of it.
it was hard for them to find me. But and so like this entire time it was nearing the end of 2019, 2020 was starting, and I was like, how the hell do I get further in the music industry? Because as I said, I got addicted to songwriting from the first song I wrote, and I like, it was crazy. My mind just went like hyper focus, and it was like, okay, this is what you have to do for the rest of your life. Like, this is your purpose or whatever. And so I was trying to figure out, I was like, how do I like make that next step from going from like an artist that people like, just like a person who has songs out, to an actual like artist in the industry, and getting into sessions and stuff like that. I didn't know how to do that. And so I was just waiting. I was in my senior year. It was May of 2020. I was so done with online school. Oh my God, I hated it. And
okay, so real quick, can I rewind real quick for you?
Go for it.
Okay, so you had all this, like the success of SoundCloud and all this was happening for you. 2019, you're still in high school, and the pandemic hasn't hit yet.
No.
So you were going to in-person school at this point?
Yeah.
And were people like, oh my God, did you see that Jess's song is like blah, blah, blah plays? Or were people just not even paying attention? Like, how was the response with your peers at this point?
My friends thought it was cool, but it wasn't something I brought up a lot. I mean, like, my close friends thought it was cool, but I really didn't. High school was weird.
Like, were they like, oh my God, she was like the girl that sang in front of Billie Eilish and had this viral video? Or like, was it not even that known of a thing?
That the Billie thing, people like only like two of my friends knew about that, because at the beginning of 2019, people like Billie still wasn't like, not everyone knew her name.
Right. Sure.
At that point. And I don't know, like I wouldn't really talk about my successes on SoundCloud or anything like to my friends. I would say, like, I would put on like my close friend story on Instagram and be like, oh my God, I hit another play. But that was like every month or so. I would just be like, oh my God, new, I don't know, people listening to my music. So I didn't really talk about it much, but it was a very, very exciting thing. It was writing songs and making music was something that I was doing all by myself in a really long time. I hadn't done like stuff by myself. I was always helped out, like my parents helped out, or my friends, or literally whoever. And so I don't know, this felt like, even though strangers around the world were listening to my music, it was still like, it was like my thing.
Right.
And I wanted
to
keep it to myself.
Sure.
Yeah. So I didn't really tell many people about it, but I get to the end of grade 11, New Year starts, 2020 starts. I'm in my senior year of high school, just still thinking of ways of how I can bridge the gap between music industry artist and bedroom artist. Oh my God, at that time, I thought the answer was DMing record labels on Instagram.
Well, if you had a fan base and a hit, like, I would think that was the same thing too.
It really wasn't that much. I had maybe a year ago today, I probably had like less than 2,000 followers. So I like on Instagrams and on socials, I really wasn't like getting attention. It was just on Spotify. But you know what? That was good for me. But I was record labels and be like, hi, can I have some advice?
Oh.
as if they're gonna respond to this random girl.
They should have.
They're missing out. But yeah, so I'm just going through the year. I'm hanging out with friends, doing extracurriculars, and pandemic hits. I'm I wasn't really putting out music then. It was the beginning of 2020, and I was kind of paying attention to school, but also not really. Kind of paying attention to music, but also kind of not really. I knew that it was what I wanted to do, but I didn't really have time to. Even though I say I didn't have time to put out music, I kind of did because everyone has time in the pandemic. Anyways, um, so I'm just waiting around doing online school. Oh my god, I fucking hate it. I can never go back to a classroom again. It's not my not my thing. I don't do well in school at all. Yeah, unless I apply myself.
But so did you enjoy doing the online school or no?
No, I hate it. Oh my god, I would never attend any classes. I hated it. No, wasn't having any of that.
But you're a senior. Okay, so you're the one I've never okay. I've done a lot of these interviews and I've yet to speak with somebody that was actually a senior going to graduate from high school when this whole thing happened. Was that kind of like a bummer? Like now you don't get to walk across the stage with your friends. Like I can imagine that being like so crushing.
It was for the first maybe like 2-3 months of like this whole pandemic thing happening. It was brutal because we just got told every 2 weeks, we got told, oh, we're pushing it back another 2 weeks. We're pushing it back another 2 weeks. Mind you, I went to an arts high school, so I was in the musical theater program. We were supposed to, we were supposed to put on a show a week after the pandemic. Like, okay, wait, how do I explain this? So it was like middle of March, and we were supposed to go on a 1-week break. And after that 1-week break, we were supposed to have our show. We had 3 nights of doing a musical, and then we got told we have 2 weeks off instead because the pandemic. We're like, okay, cool, that's fine, that's chill. And we never got to do our final show. I never got to like perform with my choir for the last time, or we didn't get prom, we didn't get graduation, none of that. We didn't get to see our friends for the last 2 months, but few months before we all go and separate on our own ways. It was sad. It was crushing. But for the first like 2 months, and then everyone was like, okay, yeah, fine, it's shit, but we like accept that it's a thing, like we can't change it.
It's still, I mean, to have those moments taken from you, I mean, like I wasn't big into high school, by the way, but like to have the time, like getting your yearbook signed by these people that I'm gonna tell you right now, 20 years down the line, you're not gonna care. Like I was talking to my wife about this the other day. Like I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna show up to our like my 20-year, to date myself, high school reunion like in a couple of years. I'm like, why am I gonna show up to this? I'm like, didn't really like any of you, and don't really care what you're up to. But it's like, like at the time, it was like, you get your friends.
It was everything.
It's not, yeah. Sign your yearbook. We're gonna miss you. Who's going to this school and this? I mean, and going to prom and all that, and then have that stripped away from you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a lot to take in. And as I said, we just kept on having hope, and that's the worst. Just like having hope for something that's just like not gonna happen.
Did you do like a virtual graduation, or like did they even do anything?
Nope. Funny story, actually. You know how I told you that I didn't go to any of my classes?
Yeah.
So okay, let me give you a little bit of a timeline here. Okay. So it's May 2020. I still am not attending any of my classes online. I'm like, I'm just gonna take a gap year. I'm like, I didn't want to take a gap year
my senior year.
I was like, I don't want to go to school. And at the best time, I get an email. Do you know Indify, the company? Have you heard of them?
Not offhand, no.
Okay, they're new, but they're this company in New York. And they essentially help artists find, like, I don't know, business partners or whatever. But at that time,
kind of like a PR firm.
kind of. Honestly, I don't really know how to explain it, but they're cool. So that's all I can tell you. But so I got an email from them, from one of the guys there, Connor Lawrence, and he was like, "Hey, I heard one of your songs on like a random playlist, and I just like wanted to know about your story and if he could help in any way." And I was like, "Oh my god, finally, my light, my is here. Like I found my person." So I get on a call with this guy, and I tell him my story. I'm like, I want to be a fucking superstar. Like
Sure.
I want to be in the music industry. I want this to be my life. I need management. And we connect really well. Turns out that he had actually tried looking for me a year ago when that YouTube video was with a soulmate who wasn't meant to be, was kind of blowing up on YouTube.
Oh.
But he couldn't find me.
Couldn't find
As
you.
I said, Jessica Benko, and you can't find. I'm not Jessica Benko, so yeah. So he was like, "Oh my god, it's you," and I was like, "Yeah, it's me." And so I like got in touch with a couple like managers, and in August, and so I was like, you know, all this music stuff is happening. I don't need school anymore, so I kind of gave up. I failed law, and I was like, there's no way I'm taking law during the summer when all of this like music stuff is happening to me. So I just didn't take the course. So I didn't actually graduate from high school, but yeah, but honestly, I'm doing well.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I don't need it. And honestly, like it doesn't really matter. It's not affecting me right now. Not graduating from high school.
Yeah, it would be like what we're doing right now, but you'd have a cap and gown on, and they'd be like, Jess Benko, and you're like, hey. Like,
the high school graduate.
They'll print out a piece of paper. They'll email you. You can print it out of your house.
Oh
you're
no!
Like, hey,
oh no!
I'll tell you this. I've never once in my entire life been asked to prove my high school graduation or my college graduation. So I'm just saying. No, no one's yet to ask. So
are you sure it's not on your wall?
No, that one's Blink and that one's Halsey. And I should post them up on my wall. Wouldn't that be funny? I'm like doing it. I'm like, here's my credentials.
Here are my qualifications for this podcast.
For this interview. I went to college here, and I went to high school here. This is my cap and gown. I've actually saved my little cloak.
So I can show it to everyone just as proof.
Yeah. So when I talk to people like you, I can be like, hey, you see that? That's my high school thing. Anyway, weird flex, but yeah. So okay, so that happens. Unfortunately, you don't get to graduate or that old
that
nightmare. Happened. And then, so you're continuing to write songs, and then, so how does this company help you? Do they find you a manager? Do they manage you? And then tell me about these songs that you've been putting out, especially Worst Enemy, which I just watched the video for and I love. But you put out a few songs in 2020 that weren't on that record, right?
Yeah, I put out this like mini EP called Closure. Okay. I had 3 songs. I think I put it out as June. I put it out because I was like, I need to put out something. Because the last time I had put out a song was December of 2019. I was like, I need to put something out. I want to do music, and I had these songs sitting, and they were kind of like, I had written them in 2019, and I was okay. And they were like my babies, and it really felt like closure putting that out. I was like, okay, closure from 2019. Mm-hmm. And so I put those songs out, and so I probably got management and everything in August of 2020. And I this girl from SoundCloud, Stephanie Zoll, and she connected me with like a producer writer duo in downtown Toronto, and I had my first session in August of last year, and we actually wrote Expired that day.
Wow.
And it was insane. I was like, oh my God, I had my first session. I was freaking out. I was like, this is so cool. I'm in the industry.
Yeah. Well, how different than that must have been so much different than writing in your room by yourself. I mean, having the opinions of other people, is that weird? Were you nervous to like show music to somebody you've never met, sort of?
I was so nervous. I had never written with other people before. I had never been around an actual producer before. And I was having like massive imposter syndrome. I was extremely excited, but I was also like, I'm gonna get in there. We're gonna try and write a song, and everyone's gonna see that I can't write songs because I had never done it before, and I wasn't necessarily very confident in myself.
Sure. New to it.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously new to everything.
yeah, and I was, you know what? But the second that session ended and I got home, just like I was like, okay, I need to go back. I need to go back as soon as I can and make another song. It felt so natural and it felt so right to just be in that room and just like write a song and make a song. And I, as I said, like hyper focus from I was hyper focused from the second I started writing songs, and the second that session happened, I got even more focused. And I yeah, I just continued having sessions with these guys, and then my team's out in LA, and so in October I flew to LA for the first time by myself. I met my team and I had sessions there, and it was really cool, and I was making friends. I was having the time of my life. Oh my
That's
goodness.
exciting.
It
Yeah.
was so much fun. And during that trip, I was in a session and I ended up writing Worst Enemy. And it was very different because it was like a proper like bop, you know, like it was upbeat. It was different from what I was doing before.
Yeah, definitely not a acoustic like singer-songwriter song.
Definitely not. But I was really experimenting with my sound at that time. I was like, okay, I'm gonna enter like the indie pop world a little bit. I was just testing things out because I was coming from such like acoustic stuff and just like absolute bare bone songs. And so I was just like, I don't know, I was just making songs and writing songs that were like all different styles and like trying shit out, and we landed on Worst Enemy, and it was definitely a favorite for a couple months because we had written in October and it came out in February. Yeah, I mean, we got into the session. I already had the first two lines of the chorus, and I was like, hey, let's write a song about this. and we did. I wrote with this guy, with this writer Nick Lopez, and this guy Izzy Perry produced it, and it was a dope time. Yeah,
it's a great song, and then the video came out as well, and with the artwork throughout the video. Was that shot in, I guess you don't even want to tell me, was it in Canada or was it in LA?
It was in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah,
very it's a rad video, so people should check it out. And the message is great as well. I mean, it talks about like mental health and everything else, and yeah.
I mean, it you know, I'm my own worst enemy. I think everyone is their own worst enemy. It was a fun song to write because I as I said at the beginning of this, I'm very, very focused on lyrics. That's my main thing. And it came out exactly how I wanted them to. I'm really proud of the song.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
That came out of the LA session?
Okay. One of the LA.
Right. Do you have like what's in the works? Do you have another EP or a collection of songs coming out, or are you?
Let me tell you. I don't have specific dates for you yet, but I have a mini EP coming out hopefully within the next 2 months. It has 4 songs on it. They're already done, and they're very much so in this like still like indie world. They're more chill songs, kind of reminiscent of my album. It's definitely more on like the sadder side and like the slower tempo side of stuff, but I actually haven't talked about this at all, but it's this EP. We have these 4 songs on it, and it's all of them are very, very, very close to my heart. And then yeah, so that's coming out hopefully soon. I have a single coming out, which is one of those songs coming out also hopefully within the next month. No date yet, but definitely keep an eye out. There's going to be some really cool stuff happening soon.
I cannot wait. I love what you've done so far, and I love the video for Worst Enemy. And thank you so much for talking with me today, Jess.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Oh my God, this is so much fun.
Well, I appreciate you. And I have one more question. I want to know if you have any advice for other aspiring artists.
Ooh. 3 things. 1, find what makes you you and stay as authentic to that as possible. 2, surround yourself with good people. They will introduce you to good people, and trust your gut. 3, don't take shit from no one. Don't take shit from no one. You know what you're doing. You know your sound. You know who you are. Yeah.